Unveiling the dark secrets of Vietnam's epic war tunnels, what you've never seen before. Deep beneath the lush Vietnamese jungles, a network of tunnels sprawls like a sinister spider's web, weaving through the ground and holding secrets that could rattle even the bravest souls. These war tunnels, crafted by human hands, were not just paths but lifelines. They buzz with an eerie history, echoing whispers of battles fought and lives lost. And as the sun sets, the air grows thick with stories begging to be unearthed. Can you feel the chill crawling up your spine? It's the breath of history, and it's waiting for you. Imagine a world where darkness reigns and even daylight can't breach its depths. The scent of damp earth clings to your nostrils as you step into the narrow confines of the tunnels. Soldiers crawled through these cramped spaces, their hearts racing with fear, listening for the enemy's footsteps. They had no room for error. One misstep could spell doom. The walls of the tunnels bear scars, etched by years of struggle, gashes from bombs and albums of every soldier's lingering dread. Each corner you turn feels alive, like a heartbeat pulsing with memories screaming to break free, but it wasn't just a dwelling for men, it was a twisting labyrinth filled with traps. Hidden pits lay just beneath the surface, designed to ensnare and crush those who dared to explore. A sudden crack might send a shiver through your chest, your breath hitching as the specter of death dances just beyond sight. With darkness swallowing you whole, you can't help but wonder, what became of the brave souls who wandered here, only to vanish without a trace? Are they still lurking in the shadows, hauntings of their past intertwining with the living? Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. As you press further into the dark abyss, the air grows heavy with tension. Each echo intensifies your instinctual fight-or-flight response. The hairs on your arms stand up as you imagine eyes watching, anxious breaths in the stillness. Light flickers from your flashlight, revealing old tools, the remnants of a life lived in hiding. What secrets do they hold? And just as you feel the thrill of discovery, you stumble upon a trapdoor covered in leaves. Your heart races as you piece together clues left behind. What if this leads to something more? Something that could change everything you thought you knew about this place. In that moment, the question burns in your mind: what lies in the darkness awaiting you, ready to emerge and shatter the very fabric of your understanding? Crouching beside the trapdoor, your fingers trembling with anticipation, you push aside the damp leaves. The wood creaks softly, a protest echoing in the silent space around you. You take a deep breath, heart thudding in your chest. What's beneath this door? This isn't just an entry, it feels like a portal into another world, one steeped in the horrors of war and danger. As you pry the door open, it reveals a set of steep, spiraling stairs descending into an impenetrable darkness. The faint smell of decay wafts up, mingling with the fresh scent of mud. A wave of nausea rolls over you, but curiosity pulls you down each step, further and further from the world above. With every creak of the wood, you can almost hear the whispers of the past, their stories beckoning you deeper inside. The flashlight barely reaches the bottom, exposing walls lined with strange symbols and crude drawings. They depict soldiers, weapons, and nightmarish creatures. Each sketch tells a tale of fear, struggle, and survival, speaking volumes of the turmoil faced by those who once dwelt here. Your pulse quickens, you can feel the raw emotion seeping through the thin air, like a heavy fog closing in. As your feet graze the cold floor, a sudden crash echoes from above. You snap your head back, instincts kicking in. What was that? A gust of wind? Or something worse? You strain to listen, every muscle tensed, holding your breath. For a heartbeat, the world narrows to just the sound of your own pulse. Then silence. Just as you convince yourself it's nothing, a low sound reverberates through the cramped tunnels. A moan, or was it a whisper, panic sets in, but you can't turn back now. Not when there's so much left to uncover. You step further into the darkness, the light flickering like a dying star. Each footstep feels louder, with the weight of history pressing down on you. You venture deeper, the air thick with the scent of mold and despair. Suddenly, your flashlight catches something glinting in the corner, the glimmer of metal. Rushing over, you find an old military insignia, half buried in dust. It feels important, like a piece of a puzzle. But then, from the corner of your eye, shadows seem to slither along the walls. You whip around, breathing heavily. There is something here with you. Just then, a chilling laugh echoes through the tunnel, a voice from the past? Or something more sinister? Your skin prickles with dread as the realization sinks in, you're not alone in here. The whispers grow louder, more frantic, surrounding you like wild crows eager to feast on fear. Your heart races, the urge to flee washes over you. But your feet feel rooted, as if the ghosts of the tunnel are holding you back, demanding that you confront whatever secrets lie ahead. In that terrifying moment, you know you'll have to push forward. You must find out what happened to those who vanished, what lurks in the shadows, waiting for the next soul brave or foolish enough to tread where they once treaded. As you press on, a bone-chilling thought pierces your mind: what if the ones who disappeared have no plans of letting you escape? Still gripping the insignia, you ask yourself if you're ready to uncover the truth, or if some secrets might be better left buried because somewhere ahead, something ancient stirs. And as you inch closer, the question looms larger: will you make it back to the surface, or will you join the haunting stories of the past? The shadows danced on the walls, swirling with an almost sentient life as you stepped deeper into the chamber. The eerie laughter faded, replaced by a heartbeat of silence that drummed in your ears. Each beat felt like a countdown, urging you forward yet weighing you down with dread. You shone the flashlight around, trying to catch a glimpse of movement, but all that greeted you were the sinister etchings that marked the walls, depictions of chaos, of soldiers clutching weapons, faces twisted in anguish. It was a gallery of nightmares. You stumbled back, your heart pounding like a battle drum, feeling the pulse of everything that had come before you pressing in. As you turned to head further into the tunnel, the familiar metallic taste of fear washed over your tongue. The insignia in your pocket felt heavier now, almost as if it had a mind of its own, urging you toward an unknown fate. What secrets lay just beyond your vision? What stories demanded to be told? A sudden scraping echoed through the air, a harsh sound that sliced through the quiet. You whipped around again, panic surging. Was it just your imagination, or was something moving in the darkness? You strained to see, breath hitching in your throat. Then, without warning, the faint light started flickering erratically. Shadows twisted and morphed, coiling like serpents ready to strike. Your hands trembled, the flashlight's beam sputtering as if it sensed your fear. A chill raced down your spine, and you fought the instinct to bolt back up the stairs. But you couldn't. Whatever awaited you was woven into the fabric of this place, a part of its haunting legacy, and it called to you now. Show yourself, you whispered, your voice trembling, almost swallowed by the oppressive darkness. But in response, a soft whisper floated through the air, words indistinct but laced with anguish. They wrapped around your mind like barbed wire, pulling you deeper into their enigma. Your eyes darted around, desperate for clarity, when suddenly, the shadows coalesced into a figure. A gaunt, pale visage glanced back at you, eyes hollow yet piercing. You gasped, stumbling backward, chest tightening as the figure lifted a hand, pointing toward the depths beyond. What do you want?" You stammered, the weight of dread tightening its grip. A voice, low and raspy, filled the air, "Find the truth or stay forever." Instinct screamed for you to run, but an unexplainable force kept your feet planted. You could sense the urgency in the figure, a need for release, a yearning for recognition. The air thickened, and visions flooded your mind, scenes of torment, of men lost to the horrors of war, their cries echoing like ghosts in the walls. Each pulse of light from your flashlight grew weaker, leaving you isolated within the haunting gloom. The figure began to dissolve into the darkness, leaving nothing but that chilling whisper echoing in your mind. Find, or stay. With trembling hands, you pressed the military insignia against your heart. You realized something profound. You were not just seeking answers for those lost. You too might become part of this tunnel's legacy. Would you risk your very soul for the truth, or would fear claim you just like it had done with so many before? Determination surged through you. Something inside insisted that you must go further. One more step, you told yourself. You needed to uncover the link that tied you to this place of despair. As you ventured further into the labyrinthine darkness, a slow realization crept through you: the only way to escape was to confront whatever malevolence lurked just out of sight. And in that moment, as you approached the next bend, a voice echoed louder than before: "You're almost there." The laughter returned, rich and sinister, sending shivers down your spine. What awaited you around that next corner? Something ancient and terrible lingered in the depths, restless and eager for company. It felt closer now, waiting, watching. Were you truly prepared to confront the darkness buried within these walls, or had you already stumbled into a trap from which there was no escape? The air grew thicker, stifling with an unsettling tension that pressed on your chest. Each step forward felt like wading through molasses, the darkness closing in tighter around you. Shadows seemed alive, swirling in malicious glee. The laughter echoed yet again, haunting and playful, taunting you as you navigated the uncertainty that lay ahead. You turned the corner with your flashlight trained on the narrow passage, pulse racing. Flickering light cast grotesque shapes against the wall, distorting the haunting carvings that told of battles fought and lives extinguished. They beckoned you closer, not letting go of the clammy grip of your mounting dread. As you inched forward, the ground shifted under your feet. The tunnel cracked and groaned, almost as if it resented your presence. A flicker of movement caught your eye. A fleeting shadow darted between the uneven stones, vanishing into the depths. Hope ignited for a moment. Was there someone else lost in these tunnels, or was it merely another figment of your racing mind? The possibility made your throat dry, and your heart rattled like a drum. A sudden chill swept through the air. It felt almost alive, curling around your ankles. The whispers grew louder, fraying the edges of your sanity. Find the truth, they beckoned, cutting through the silence with desperate clarity, intertwining your fate with the spirit inhabiting the abyss. You stumbled forward, heart hammering. With every beat, your resolve wavered. Were you ready to lay bare the truth of this haunting legacy? Were you prepared to peel back the layers of despair that wrapped around you? Each twist, each murmur, nudged you further into the dark back alleys of this grim history, and then, you saw it: the remnants of an old map etched deep into the rock. Symbols and markings that whispered of hidden chambers and secret paths that had long been forgotten. You traced your fingers over the lines, a jolt of recognition coursing through you. This place was more than just a historical relic, it was a living entity, bound by the anguish that had soaked into the very stone. An echo of laughter bounced off the walls, sharp and unyielding. Discover what you fear, unravel the thread. The voice curled around your mind, luring you deeper into the treachery that awaited. You swallowed hard, anger swelled. Who were they to decide your fate? The flashlight flickered again, each burst of light revealing fresh horrors carved into the walls, faces twisted in despair, each scream trapped within the impenetrable silence of stone. You felt your resolve swell with anger, fueling you forward. "I will find you," you muttered softly, your voice fierce amidst the haunting cacophony. Turning the final corner, an overwhelming presence loomed. Shadows coalesced, and the air crackled with energy. You halted, breath catching in your throat, the realization striking you like a blow. You were no longer alone, the darkness had formed into something vast, something sinister. A figure stood before you, flickering in and out of existence, rooted in time and tragedy. "Do you dare to know?" it hissed, voice dripping with ancient sorrow. The room felt heavy with dread, the walls humming with the weight of lost souls. As the darkness closed in, its fingers brushing against your skin, you clutched the insignia, its warmth a distant comfort. Were you ready to face what lay beneath the surface? The mere thought chilled you to the bone. But you stepped closer, determined. "I have to know the truth. I have to set you free. The figure's hollow eyes locked onto yours, a flicker of hope mingling with despair. Then approach, but be warned. Not all truths grant freedom. With your heart pounding, one question lingered: what was the truth that lay ahead? And what price would you have to pay to uncover it? All you knew was that this was only the beginning. The figure loomed, a distorted whisper of humanity wrapped in shadows. You could feel the weight of ages pressing down, suffocating, all-consuming. Every instinct screamed at you to retreat, yet an unexplainable force urged you on. You took a step forward, driven by a mixture of fear and an indescribable draw to uncover what lay hidden. The echo of its voice danced around the chamber, lingering like the scent of smoke after a fire. Every truth carries a shadow. The words rattled through the stone walls, and the shadows flexed, reaching out, brushing against your skin like cold fingers. What's your name? You demanded, your voice barely above a whisper. The name felt crucial, a key needed to unlock something buried deep within this spectral realm. The figure flickered, the edges of its form becoming less defined. For a moment, a soft glow illuminated its face, a woman, face etched with despair. Angeline, she sighed, each letter cracking the air like brittle glass. They took everything from me. I can't rest. You could see her eyes, pools of sorrow that threatened to drown you in despair. Pity swelled in your chest, but you quickly pushed it aside. What happened to you? Betrayed, she hissed, her voice rising, gaining strength amid the shadows. A life lost in a war of lies. I linger here, just echoes of what could have been. The walls trembled, as if absorbing her anguish, vibrating with her memories. You took a breath, steadying yourself against the wave of sorrow crashing over you. I came to find the truth, you replied, your voice firm. But now I see it's more than what you lost, it's about what kept you here. A low growl rippled through the space, and the shadows danced erratically. Angeline's figure wavered, battling the darkness surrounding her. The price of truth is steep, she warned. It demands sacrifice. What kind of sacrifice? You asked, your heart racing. Visions of what she might demand flickered through your mind: your freedom, your memories, perhaps your very soul. She drew closer, her form solidifying momentarily, the pain etched on her face fracturing the tension in your chest. To free me, you must confront the shadows of your own past. Only then can we both find peace. Her expression was desperate but resolute, her ethereal essence flickering with each word. The air thickened with tension, the whispers in the darkness shifting into frantic murmurs. Were they warning you? Urging you to turn back? A sudden rush of anger surged inside you, determination fueled by the need to face your own shadows. I've faced my demons before, you declared. I won't shy away now. A cruel laugh erupted in the darkness, echoing ominously. Can you face your truth? Can you bear what you uncover? You clenched your fists, steeling yourself. I won't back down. The moment expanded, stretched taut with an unsaid challenge. Angeline's hollow gaze bored into you. Then allow the shadows to guide you, but beware, the truth is a mirror that reflects the darkest corners of your soul. As the darkness pulsed around you, a doorway appeared behind Angeline, shimmering with a deep, foreboding light. The air stirred, heavy with anticipation. Step through, she beckoned softly, the shadows swirling more violently, as if urging you in. What you find may change everything. One step back would mean returning to safety, to ignorance. But stepping forward might mean entering a nightmare beyond your imagination. You took a deep breath, heart thundering in your chest. With resolve surging, you stepped toward the light, forgetting the danger behind you. What awaited on the other side could rewrite everything you thought you knew. Would you emerge transformed or trapped forever? The moment your foot crossed the threshold, a jolt of energy surged through your body. The doorway flickered like a dying star, and with a breath that felt like a gasp of freedom, you stepped into another world. Light was brighter here, an ethereal glow that illuminated a landscape both foreign and familiar. The air was thick with humidity, and the smell of damp earth was a reminder of life and decay intertwined. It felt like Vietnam, whispering secrets buried beneath jungles and forgotten tunnels. Could this be Angeline's past? A time before betrayal, a time before despair. You glanced around, your heart racing. Shadows twisted among the trees, but here they cast a different kind of shape, ghostly figures moving in and out of sight, caught between laughter and desperation. Each echo of a footfall cut through the dense air with sharp clarity. A bitter, exhilarating thrill iced your veins. This was no ordinary exploration, it was a journey into a heart of darkness. Suddenly, a figure burst from the tree-line. A young woman, dirty and dressed in tattered clothing, eyes wide with a mix of terror and defiance. She held a small bundle in her arms. "Get away!" she yelled, pointing a grimy finger at you. "You don't belong here." Panic vibrated through her voice, and you could see it vibrating off her trembling body. Your mind raced. Were these the shadows that Angeline spoke of? Was this woman a reflection of Angeline's own fears? You stepped back, but the fear of retreat clawed at your heart. Angeline's warning echoed in your mind like a constant drumbeat. You had to confront this. "Wait," you said, hands raised in a calming gesture. "I'm not your enemy. I'm here to hear." "To what?" She cut you off, her eyes narrowing. "To take more? To steal what's left?" Her voice was thick with accusation, and your determination to understand shook its foundations. You saw her clenching the bundle tighter, as if it contained her last vestige of hope, but as she glared at you, more figures emerged from the shadows, men, women, children, all wounded, haunted by loss. Their gazes pinned you, demanding answers you didn't have. You grasped the weight of their pain, stirring memories buried within you. Memories that clawed at your conscience and reflected your own past failures. Regrets washed over you like a wave, threatening to drown you in guilt. You tried to push them away, but they swirled closer, long-forgotten faces, decisions that haunted you in the dead of every night. "I need to help you," you shouted, feeling helpless yet filled with a fierce urgency. "What can I do?" The young woman's hardened expression softened for a fleeting moment. "Help us?" she sneered, the flames of hope battling against the cold grip of despair. "You can't help anyone. The only thing your kind ever does is take." Before you could respond, an ancient echo surged through the trees, a roar that shook the very air. The ground trembled beneath you, and the shadows twisted violently. You looked around in horror as the figures began to distort, their faces melting into anguished masks. "Face it!" a chorus of voices commanded, emerging from the swirling darkness. They surrounded you, and they were more than just memories. They were the regrets you tried to forget. The young woman stepped back, seeming to falter between two worlds. A crack erupted in the space around you, a gaping void that threatened to swallow you whole. Fear gripped you, but something deeper and understanding blossomed. You took a decisive step forward, locking eyes with her. "I'm not here to take. I'm here to learn." As the shadows thickened, the air filled with anticipation. Would they embrace your honesty, or would they drag you into the depths of despair? "Will you face the truth with me?" Together, the words escaped your mouth, trembling as they hung between you. The moment crackled with tension. The figures waited, breath held, shadows looming ever closer, as you prepared for whatever revelations awaited. You sensed an answer was near, but what would it reveal? The air pulsed, heavy with the weight of your question. The figures lingered, their spectral faces flickering like candle flames in the wind, ready to extinguish. "Face it." The echo returned, louder this time, vibrating through the ground. A pulse of dread spread through the crowd as they began to murmur, their voices a tumult of anxious despair. "Help us," a voice whispered, only to be swallowed by the rage of the chorus. You stood your ground, heart pounding in your chest like a war drum. You had to stay, to push through this maelstrom. "I can't take anything more from you. I want to understand," you shouted, desperation clawing at your throat. The young woman paused, her grip on the bundle loosening ever so slightly. A glimmer of something curiosity, perhaps, passed over her face. But doubt clouded her eyes. Do you even know what you're asking? She stepped closer, her dirty hair framing her face like a halo of shadows. This is a cursed land, filled with the screams of the past. You think you can unravel what was done here? Maybe I can't change what happened, you replied, but I can listen. I can help carry the weight. The figure's expressions flickered, a show of anguish and hope intertwining. Did they sense the sincerity in your words? Was it enough to break through the pain cloaked around them? Before the tension could break, the ground beneath you erupted in a violent tremor. The crack in reality widened. Darkness surged forth, swallowing everything with a relentless hunger. The ghosts recoiled, lost in the chaotic swirl. Run! The woman screamed, instinct kicking in as the shadows clawed at your ankles. Without hesitation, you turned, propelling yourself deeper into the forest. The thick foliage swallowed you, a cocoon of silence amidst the cacophony behind. Yet even here, the whispers followed. Images flickered in your mind, terrified faces, shadows climbing walls, echoing cries piercing the silence of deep tunnels. You pushed through, determination fueled by desperation. Suddenly, you stumbled into a clearing. Moonlight spilled over the scene like a forgotten dream. Your breath caught in your throat as you beheld an ancient stone structure, its stones worn and etched with markings, languages of the past nearly swallowed by vines. In that heartbeat, the whispers intensified, gathering into a symphony of longing and grief. Here lies the truth, they murmured, blending with the wind. You could sense stories aching to break free, but they hovered just beyond your grasp. What if this was more than a forgotten relic? What if the answers lay in the echoes trapped within those walls? You stepped closer, drawn to the stone as if it pulsed with a heartbeat of its own. A strange warmth radiated from it, inviting, yet daunting. Your hand brushed against the cool surface, and suddenly, the air shifted. A tremor ran through you, a torrent of emotions rolling like thunder. Tell me, you yelled, your voice cracking. I came here for you. I came for your truth. A fierce wind howled around you, drowning your words, yet you stood firm. In that moment, insanity and lucidity collided. The past was begging to be uncovered. It wanted to emerge, to be revealed in all its raw horror. Could confronting the truth save you, or would it reveal deeper shadows lurking inside your own soul? As the ground shook again, you felt the stones vibrate, resonating with unsaid histories, pleading to change the narrative. Would you listen? Would you dare unveil the darkness hidden beneath? And in the silence that followed, a deeper question arose: what darkness awaited beyond what you already knew? The earth shuddered, each pulse echoing in your bones like a warning bell, stirring primal fears buried deep. Your palm was still pressed against the stone, warm and alive, yet the reality around you seemed to dissolve into chaos. Shadows surged from the ground like waves, lapping at your feet, urging you to retreat. But retreat wasn't an option. Not this time. With teeth clenched, you took a step back, the distant wails of the figures merging into a dreadful harmony that twisted your gut. You could almost feel their despair wrapping around you, squeezing tighter with each gasping breath. What do you want? You shouted, your voice raw against the howling wind. What do you need? The air grew thick, almost palpable, as if the very atmosphere listened. Then, from the depths of the shadows, a new voice rose, deep, resonant, like thunder rumbling in the distance. End the silence, end the curse. A chill slithered down your spine. You could hardly comprehend this new layer of reality, thick with agony and longing. The wall before you seemed to pulse with breath, ancient stories trapped within waiting to be told. What if the whispers weren't just echoes of anguish? What if they carried a deeper truth? You hesitated, wavering between fear and an insatiable curiosity. The young woman who had first drawn you into the chaos now stepped back from the vine-laden structure, her expression morphing from dread to something close to resignation. If you seek the truth, then you must bear the burden. Her voice was barely a whisper, strained by the weight of her past. You studied her, every scar on her face a testament to stories unwritten. The stories of those lost in this cursed land. I can carry it, you replied, though the truth of that promise clanged uneasily in your heart. I won't let it stay buried. With renewed determination, you turned back to the stones, placing both hands against the engraved surface. It felt electric beneath your fingertips. Pulsating. Breathing. A sudden rush of visions flooded your mind, images of soldiers, mud-covered and battered, faces twisted in terror, families frantically searching for missing loved ones in a haze of smoke and fire. Each memory crashed over you like waves, drowning you in their despair. You staggered back, gasping for air. What happened here? You cried, horrified at the pain you felt through the connection forged with the stone. Each story was a link, binding you to the lost souls who once walked this land. Speak. You demanded again, the urgency mounting within you, threatening to explode. I want to understand your pain. As your voice faded, the ground trembled once more, fissures spreading outward like veins of darkness. The heart of the forest shuddered, the shadows thickening into the forms of unnaturally elongated silhouettes, your fear amplifying their spectral presence. Take it! Screamed the spectral chorus, their voices a cacophony, swelling like a tempest. Unravel the curse, unravel the truth. It was a siren call, a heady mix of dread and allure. The tangible darkness shifted closer, encircling you with an intensity that felt alive, breathing down your neck. Could the truth free you from the weight of their suffering, or was it a noose tightening around your throat? In that climactic moment, you realized you stood at a precipice not just of this cursed land's past, but your own. Would you leap into the abyss of truth or remain shackled to lingering fears? The wind howled like a furious spirit, rattling your resolve. Just then, a deafening crack rang out, the air splitting with a voice louder than thunder. Then come. Face your fate. What fate awaited you as the path of shadows beckoned? Would you find solace or madness in the truth, or was this just the beginning of an even darker descent? The shadows lunged, a mass of writhing darkness, fangs bared and teeth glinting with malicious anticipation. You could feel your heart thundering in your chest, a wild drumbeat of fear laced with a desperate thrill. This was at the moment you'd been pushed toward by their cries, a swirling vortex of fate pulling you in. The earth trembled again, but the tremor felt different this time, more alive, more aware. It mirrored the pulse racing through your veins. You stood at the edge of a chasm, one foot hovering over the abyss, the other rooted in the past that demanded to be uncovered. Would you let the shadows engulf you, or would you seize the truths they guarded? Step forward, the thunderous voice echoed, an invisible magnet pulling you closer. The darkness was intoxicating, heady and dangerous. Should you yield? Would the cost be worth the knowledge? As if sensing your indecision, the specters howled, their cries blending into a turbulent storm. Only in truth shall you find freedom. That mantra swirled in your head as you hesitated. But it was a fleeting moment. Before you could even think, your feet moved. You stepped forward, deeper into the darkness that teased the edge of your sanity. Cold swept over you, a harsh reminder that you were not alone. Suddenly, the chaos prevailed, shadows condensed into forms, figures of soldiers, eyes wide with memories frozen in horror. You blinked as sweat trickled down your brow. Their faces blurred, some haunted, some rage-filled, but all wore expressions that stretched into eternity. Help us. Their voices croaked, fierce yet desperate. It was not merely an utterance, it was a plea steeped in agony. You can't leave us here. You felt the weight of their desires, their fears crashing against you. The anger of lives unfulfilled jolted through your spine. I won't. You yelled into the storm of despair. I'll end this. The shadows recoiled, a ripple of surprise passing through their haunted forms. Gripping your arms tighter, they seemed to pulse with a grudging respect. You took another step, the ground beneath you shifting as cracks revealed glimpses of an underworld terrifying, beautiful, and filled with unspoken truths, then you heard it, a single note, sharp and discordant, slicing through the cacophony. Seek the heart of the curse. The command pulled you in like a current. It felt like a whisper, yet it vibrated through your bones. You squinted into the depths, where faint glimmers of light flickered in the distance. Maybe it was hope. Maybe it was deception. You couldn't be sure. The air pulsed again, and the shadows swirled around your legs, moving from antagonism to an almost mournful embrace. Can you bear the burden of what lies below? A voice echoed, softer now, as though weaving through time itself. But as you prepared to respond, the ground shifted unnaturally, sending a tremor through the earth and causing you to stagger. A dark passage opened up before you, its maw gaping an invitation and a threat, one that blended seamlessly into the past woven into these lands. The air smelled of damp earth and secrets buried too deep. Your heart raced. As you stepped closer, the darkness grew more vibrant, more defined. Memories washed over you like the tide, echoes of laughter, screams of war, and the cries of families torn apart. The stories wove a complex tapestry around you, intertwining, revealing the human spirit hovering in the shadows. You looked back at the girl, who watched you with wide, soulful eyes, filled with anxiety and hope. If you go in, you may not come back the same, she warned. Nothing will be the same after this, you countered. Then, driven by something deeper than fear or curiosity, you plunged into the heart of the darkness. As the shadows swallowed you whole, the voices around you crescendoed into a brilliant symphony of agony and hope. What awaited inside this crypt of memories? Would you find the answers you sought, or would they drag you into an unexpected nightmare? In that liminal space between courage and despair, you felt the truth beckoning with a fierce urgency. The question lingered in the air, heavy with implication: would you discover salvation or succumb to madness? The darkness tightened around you like a vice as you descended deeper into the heart of the passage. The weight of centuries pressed down, thick and suffocating. You could almost hear the shadows speaking, their whispers mingling with the pulse of fear thrumming in your chest. Every step took you further into the abyss, yet something inside urged you onward. Find the heart of the curse, you murmured, remembering the echoes of that resonant voice. You had to uncover it. It was more than just a call to action. It was a reckoning, a chance to confront the ghosts of the past that had chained Angeline and countless others to this dark realm. The air around you grew frigid, the chill creeping beneath your skin. With the beam of your flashlight flickering like a dying star, you pressed forward, determined to light the way for yourself and those who had lingered in this place too long. Suddenly, the passage opened into a vast chamber, the walls lined with rough-hewn stone that glimmered with an otherworldly sheen. In the center lay an ancient altar, crumbling but magnificent, a seat of power that had once harnessed the rawness of truth and pain. A tapestry of history hung in the air, thick with emotions that swirled around you like a tempest. You approached the altar as a deep reverberation rumbled through the earth. This is it, you whispered to yourself, heart pounding. A strong force surrounded you, pulling at the edges of your resolve. Was this what the figures had meant when they urged you to find the heart? Resting your hands on the altar, you could almost feel the pulse of anguish emanating from within. The moment your skin made contact, a tidal wave of visions surged through you. You were transported, no longer standing in the physical world but woven into the fabric of time itself. You saw Angeline, alive, her face radiant but shadowed with fear. You witnessed her moments of betrayal. Soldiers who once fought beside her turned on their own. You felt the weight of her heartbreak as she cried for lives lost, families torn apart, dreams extinguished in an instant. The fire of war surged around her, a cacophony of chaos. Your heart raced as you realized this wasn't just Angeline's story. It was a collective howl echoing from the deep, a voice of every soul who had suffered. As the images faded, you gasped, breath hitching in your throat. Angeline, she had needed more than freedom from her plight. She sought acknowledgement, an understanding that the pain of war didn't simply vanish but transformed. You looked into the shadows swirling around you, the anguished faces of those waiting. I see you. You cried, the words reverberating off the stone walls. I understand your pain. The dark energy that had coiled in anger shifted, as if recognizing your acceptance. The figures began to unfurl, their sadness giving way to something more potent, hope. "Help us," whispered a chorus, drifting from a multitude of lost souls, their voices woven into one. They sought release through the truth you were ready to unveil. You took a deep breath, drawing courage from the weight of the insignia still clutched in your hand. "Tell your story," you demanded, a resolute strength in your voice. "Let my heart hold it. I carry you with me." The shadows responded, coalescing into a luminous form. It solidified until Angeline stood before you, ethereal and full of both sorrow and gratitude. "Thank you," she breathed, her voice a soft caress. "Your heart can carry my truth. You are the bridge, the one who can release us." In that moment, you forged a connection that transcended time. Their stories, woven together, sparked into light. Translucent threads reaching out to one another, binding sorrow and hope. Suddenly, the air vibrated with new energy. You felt the weight of the curse lifting, releasing its grip on the forest, on the heart of Vietnam. Shadows pulled back, revealing glimmers of sunlight filtering through the cave's mouth, a pathway emerging. "You are free," you murmured. "You can find peace." With every ounce of strength, you called upon the light gathered from there. Voices, illuminating the passageway. The oppressive darkness fractured, revealing the beauty of the world beyond. As the shadows faded, a sense of relief washed over you. You had set them free, emerging from the darkness, the warmth of sunlight enveloped you like an embrace. You had made it back, a world alive with color, with vibrance, and the distant echoes of laughter filled the air. Turning back to look at the entrance, you whispered, "Thank you," the words carried by the gentle breeze. But then, something shifted in your chest. A cold weight had lifted, but the reverberations of what you had encountered created ripples. You now bore the truth of their stories. The burden was heavy, but you were strong. The tales of bravery, pain, and loss were yours to carry. And, as the sun dipped low, a feeling of gratitude washed over you. History, once shackled in darkness, now wove through you like a living tapestry. You took a deep breath, ready to share. This was just the beginning, and the world needed to remember. "Tell the stories," you vowed. "And never let the shadows return." With resolve filling your heart, you turned towards the path ahead, each step resonating with the strength of the countless souls you had freed. You stepped into the brightness of the day, a day etched with memories, woven anew. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Smash the like button now to feed the algorithm. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about this ending. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this amazing conclusion. You need to show your support as a true fan.